a successful week, but your team is stepping up in class this weekend against Cincinnati, who are on a really hot run, as you know. What are you expecting from them this weekend?
Yeah, I think Cincinnati are just a real championship team. They're consistent, and they have the levels of concentration that I think puts them where they are in the table. Their points per game doesn't lie. The standings don't lie. I think they're a top team.
So a good measuring stick for your side?
Yeah, I mean, the first game of the season down their place, we were able to take a point out of them, but they've improved since then. You know, they've recruited well. You know, to see Miles Robinson in there with Miazga, I mean, that's a tough back three, and you know, Arellana that they recruited, Kelsey, who they've just brought in as well to probably replace Bupenza while he's out. They've recruited really well. So I just feel like they've been able just to tick that machine over from last season. They haven't really skipped a beat, but what I've seen is over the last 5-6 weeks is that doggedness in their defending. I think their defending's probably the best in the league I've seen.
You kept Acosta off the score sheet in the first game. I'm just curious, what do you make of him as a player, and what's the key to sort of, if not sort of neutralizing him, at least kind of limiting him?
Yeah, I think with Acosta, he's consistently been the best in MLS for 2-3 seasons. You know, I think for them, he's 84% of their goals and assists come through him. I mean, to have that big of an influence on a team is phenomenal, and he does it every week. You know, we've been developing the Acosta rules, so I mean that's as good as it gets. But you know, you can develop them, but applying them's two different things. You know, we had them in game one, and while we were able to manage elements of Acosta, you know, Sean Johnson made some brilliant saves that day as well. So, you know, I think tactically you think you can do certain things, and then when the game actually kicks off, you've got to hope to some degree that, you know, he'll have a little bit of an off day, but at the same time you've got to push him into that off day, which is trying to starve him of the ball if you can, and then some of the key passes that he wants to make, you've got to be clued into them at the right time. Easier said than done.
How big of a blow is going into this game without Fede?
Yeah, massive blow. You know, I think for us, he has been our most consistent attacking performer this season. Obviously, we've had players out like Lorenzo injured, Lozo's been in and out the squad. Prince has started to hit his form, but Fede hasn't skipped a beat since the season started, and after he scored his first goal, he's just been unreal. So I think he was a big loss because it changes the dynamic on our attacking play, you know, moving that opposite rhythm where, you know, once you open him up on that wide right, you know, that maverick ability comes out, and you know something's going to happen as soon as he gets the ball. So we've had to adapt a little bit this week to that, but still feel like we've got enough threat with Lorenzo and Tyrese Spicer, Prince, you know, Osorio, Derek Etienne, Shaquille. God, I've missed someone. I've definitely missed someone there. But DK, I mean, yeah, there's threat there. So I mean, you know, he's a big blow, but next man up.
Fede seems to be a player who plays with emotion. I guess you don't want to take that away from him, but some of those yellow cards seem unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, they're unnecessary, and I do think that, you know, after some of the work from the previous weeks, you know, he's been targeted a little bit, I'd say. Like, you know, I didn't think he should have been sent off. That was my view of the world, because I was very close to it. And then the AR's give him a yellow card, not the referee. It was the AR that reported him. And I don't know. I mean, my take is you want the best players playing in MLS, and, you know, rules are rules, but, you know, there is discretion in that as well. I think emotion, timing of the game, was the 93rd minute. Guy's fatigued. He was fouled if you go back and watch the clip. And but dissent's dissent, and that's whatever it was said. They thought it warranted it.
Is there any update on the word? What's the word on Oso, Long, and Richie?
Yeah, I think everything's positive. So we'll have Ozo back tomorrow. We'll have Longy available as well, and Richie Larea, close. Probably more the roster, I'd say, for DC. I think that'll be the first roster we'll see him on. I could have put him on the bench tomorrow, but it's I don't want to be risking him too early. He's very close. The extra few days will help him.
Sean, when Richie does come back, what does that mean for Fede? Does he sort of hang on to that wingbot spot? Do you play Fede on the other side? I mean, what?
Oh, I'm starting to get spoiled now. I've never had to think like this. But yeah, what we looked at in the recruitment of Richie was the opportunity to have multiple maverick wingbacks, and I think that's the beauty, that can play left and right side. So, Richie can rotate to the right, Fede can rotate to the left. Fede can play inside forward, which allows us to play Richie at wing back. And then if you get Fede and Richie on the same side, right wing back, right inside forward, you can rotate those positions, because Richie loves that inside channel as well. And then we just get pure flexibility with Jaquil and Kobe Franklin, Fede. Like, this is, the vision that myself and Ginés and Hernandez had, that we would have variety where we could have inverted wing backs, we could have wing backs that were high and wide, we could flip them during the game, so you could always have that fluidity and flexibility. So I'm excited.
Will you give the players any time off after next week with that long stretch? You got 2 weeks off after that?
Yeah, definitely. After this period of time, I think everyone needs just an emotional and mental reset. I think coming out of 2 back-to-back away games, the lads will be a week away from home, but the whole having lived that life internationally, moving from a hotel and then flying to another place when you want your own bed and you're back in another hotel, it's draining. So they'll get some time off.
John, were there any other injuries that came out of the Saint Laurent game? I mean, Alonso took a pretty nasty kick.
Yeah, but it wasn't concussive though, so that was the good news. But he more had an issue with the stamp on his calf, so that happened down just by the touchline. But he's available. He's just on rotation. He'll be on a rotation, and midfielders will be on rotation for 3 games now. Matty, Davy, and Alonso. We've got to manage their minutes now.
But there's no one new in terms of.
No. Everyone's good to go.
And we saw Shane working out today a little bit, so that's positive.
He's getting close. Yeah.
What's the timeline?
It's still like day by day, week by week. It's it was a grade 4, so it's the kicking muscle, and he's starting. It was a big day today because he actually started striking the ball. So progressively that'll be loaded. But it was, it'll not be until after the break we'll see Shane in full training.
And I'm guessing the same for Brandon. Is there an update?
Brandon will be a bit longer. I think the timelines I've seen have been more July than June, just based on some of the stages and markers he's been hitting.
Sorry, my train of thought here. Oh, Sean, because he's been called into the U.S. camp. My understanding is that he's going to go, like they're going to start reporting to camp on May 28th. So will he be around for the Philadelphia game?
Yeah, he'll be around, yeah. I mean, the FIFA window doesn't open until after that game, so we're good with Sean. But we will miss him. He's probably going to be out for, I'd say, Copa America. I'm assuming given his veteran status, the impact he has on that group, I think we'll miss him for a big stretch.